Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Brian's Life. And then today in my life, I want to discuss, doesn't it seem like a lot more people are angry? That everything seems, there's a lot more anger and upset, unrest going around on this whole planet. And today I want to discuss, I think, the reason why. I think I know where it got more focused on, and the solution. Now the solution I want to be very careful with here is I don't think I actually have the full solution. I have a step in the right direction for the solution. I don't want to do one of these hook bait trick things on the videos trying to get you to watch to the end. I want real followers. I would love to have followers, but I would enjoy followers that are engaging, I'm going through some changes. I'm moving to a different, well, not moving, going back and forth to a different country, changing my life, like I said in my other videos, from workaholic to exactly the opposite, having more meaning in life, understanding that meaning and the happiness and everything else. And I want to share all these experiences with you, and I enjoy teaching. I actually enjoy having a debate as well. I've got some friends that could be complete dead set opposite opinion, but I will be the first to lend a hand if they've fallen over. Okay, I don't, if I lose a friend over an opinion, it's not from my actions, it's from their actions. So my point being in all of this is, I think I have a solution. I just don't want to try and trick everybody into watching this whole video for this thing. But okay, everybody seems to be a lot more angry and upset. There's a lot more debates going around, and they're very serious debates. There's life-changing debates about a lot of things, gay rights and all this kind of stuff, and environment and economics and everything, and I think part of the reason here is when you have just an inequality of funds being distributed around the world. I heard statistics. I remember watching something, this number stuck in my mind. 97% of the wealth is owned by 3% of the people. Now, if you Google that now, those numbers are not accurate in that sense, okay? It'll show something like, I believe 75%, and then the bottom half only have 1% or something. There's a little bit more to it. But I remember watching a really good breakdown on it, and some of the bigger companies that they're not monopolized technically are, because they're run by bigger families or whatever. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but I think, we can debate on the fact about what the percentages is of the wealth distribution, but I think we can all agree on they're out of whack, okay? And how they're out of whack would mean politicians are not politicians. They are puppets for the people that have the income, and I'm not trying to make a bunch of conspiracy and anger and hate videos and all this kind of stuff, although they work better. But the reality is, when you have such an unfair value of money being spread around, it buys everything. It buys power, of course. And I've got nothing against capitalism in its form, but it's the corrupt part of it. Like, even if a company has all this kind of money, and even if these people that are super rich have way higher percentage, kudos to them. They probably did some hard work, or they inquired, whatever it may be. The problem, I would say, is how it's being used. If you can manipulate government, your own personal health care. Why do the rich have such a healthier lifestyle? Less stress, of course, better access to better quality foods, and of course Medicare that is going to be available, the special new stuff they all get versus everybody else. And that's a whole different topic. But right off the bat, the politicians, in my opinion, and correct me where you think I'm wrong, are not politicians. They're literally puppets for the corporations. We all know this. I remember 10, 15 years ago, we brought up here and there, but it's more of a like, well, I'm sure we know, but it's kind of on the back door. We don't really know the details. I think it's getting to the point where it's put right in our faces how they can get away with such big things. It's amazing, and I look at my own country in Canada as well for right now. I'm so surprised how much of a difference our political views have become in the last little while. And I would have never assumed. We all have this illusion of a free country, but the illusion is really, it's being lifted very, very abruptly. And getting back to where I think how we're more focused on it, I would think from the pandemic, it was, there's a lot of, and again, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole about who was right, who was wrong about, and even where it started and how it started and all that kind of stuff. That's not my issue, but how it changed the world. And if you would have asked me a year before, a few months before it was the outbreak happened, and you're going to tell me that the world's going to get shut down, the economy is going to crash temporarily, and people are going to be driving in their cars by themselves with a mask on, and over a mortality rate of 1%. Let's be giving and say it was a 2%, but that, if you look back in history, that's not a pandemic. Most, the mortality rate was a lot higher. My point being, again, I'm not trying to debate what the vaccines and all this kind of stuff. I don't want to. That's not my point. But the reality of it is, everybody knew the numbers of what the mortality rate was, or know now, and we've shut down the entire world, and our economy and everything else. And I think it gave a lot of people time to reflect on themselves, what makes them personally happy, how much did their lives get disrupted. And sadly, we lost a lot of people. I'm not cold-hearted or downplaying that, but I do believe that gave everybody a lot more to reflect on like, this doesn't seem right. We were doing the wrong thing, wrong direction here, and how a lot of things are being handled. And that, so it gave a lot of people time to reflect. I think that was a big thing. And when, again, I come back to this, the money, who controls all these agencies, who controls pharmacare, who controls the fact, who, like the World Health Organizations, how they're going to get run. That's run by people that have a lot of money. Let's to be honest, okay? Because the pharmacare is huge money. If you just tap into, I was watching a documentary the other day, and I'm kind of getting sidetracked here on this one, but I just want to fill you with this information. There's a doctor here that came up with a cure, and then you realize, you can't do the one pill that fits all. Okay, you got to do the genes and et cetera, et cetera. I'll try and find his name at some point and make a separate or video on this. My point being is, it was a very clear understanding, and Japan was so interested in this guy's work as well. But they got shut down, and they admitted why they got shut down. They were starting to test this guy's theory, and North America was saying, basically, we're going to stop buying any kind of drugs from your company in your country if you pursue this. And the reality is, what I'm trying to stress about this again, it's about the money. And we all sort of know, they already would have had a cure a long time ago. It's 100%. I almost want to argue, you want to get a cure for cancer? Stop donating. Don't donate anymore. Find somebody that's sick with it. Donate the money if it makes you feel better. Donate it to them personally, but don't donate it to any company, because their universities are being paid for. They would literally, that old saying, don't build the better mousetrap because you go bankrupt. Okay. You get the mousetrap, you use it, you throw it away. That was the old school. You buy the better one that you keep, you're going to go bankrupt. Well, it's the same with the cure for that. So all of these little scenarios, I'm trying to say, it's about the money, 100%. When we don't know why we're angry, okay? Well, we think you have a reason because we see injustice, but we don't know where it's coming from. We don't know who to attack, but we know it's somebody's fault. So if something goes wrong with, if it's racist or this and this, we always think it's somebody to blame. And I think the masses, we don't have to blame each other, okay? There's a lot of... the whole thing is stemmed on the imbalance of the wealth, and that's the root of it, I would say. And it's not that I'm a believer that you should destroy companies and just give poor people money and take it away from the rich, so to speak. But I think there needs to be a way better system on where and how much control it can do for the government end of it. There should be no control. It should not have any influence, 100%. I'm just living in a fantasy world, because that just ain't going to happen in this time and era. And so anyway, that's what I believe, what I think is the biggest problem, is the money balance. And I think we all started really changing our lives and what's important to our lives in the pandemic, as we were shut down, and we saw how fast everybody's life is vulnerable and can change due to policy, and let's face it, we were all hand-tied, and we couldn't travel, we couldn't, and in our country, the truckers stand up there with the convoy. It was a completely harmless, there was no violence, no nothing. There was a protest. Now, I don't live in the city that it happened at. I was on the other end of the country. I'm sure if I was living right there, I'd be a little bit upset because you hear the horns going all the time and stuff like that, and traffic would be a chaos because you couldn't get through it. But aside from that, it was extremely peaceful. And what does our government do? Invoke the War Act, and in that particular moment, everybody's bank account, technically, could have been seized by the government, and as Canadians, that we should be way more upset for that scenario, I think personally, and our passports were technically invalid. Okay, that War Act is meant to be used in case of a war, protecting our citizens. Okay, maybe they need all these funds to build a border, whatever it may be. They sure as heck don't need to use that without even trying to debate. Okay, and again, these are just things that are my opinions in that respect, where I think that we've gone too far in so many aspects of it. And I'm not trying to debate what was right or wrong as far as where the truckers were going, but they have the right to debate. To protest. That we should be. All these rights have been taken away. Or the threat of taken away. Okay, we got to be very careful how we word this. And I'm not trying to cause anger. I'm not trying to cause hatred. Okay, that's part of the problem. I would be part of the problem if I'm trying to do that. But I think that is the issue, okay? And we're getting angry, and then if somebody disagrees with something, we want to lash out at that person, and it's because the whole system is corrupt in a lot of ways, of course, and it's because of the imbalance of income and the control of it. And again, I've been in business. I've done business. There's nothing wrong with money. There's nothing wrong with earning your money. There's nothing wrong with being the richest person in the world. There's nothing wrong if you made an invention, a computer invention, did whatever. That's not the issue. The issue is, what are you able to do with that power when you control the pharma companies and mega oil companies or gas and blah, 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 blah. That is the issue, right? I think that's the biggest problem we have. And again, so now let's go into the solution part. I don't have a solution. Thanks for watching. No, listen, man. I said earlier, I really do want followers. I like followers that can engage me with this kind of stuff and give me some feedback would be fantastic. I do believe we have a solution. I think the future is going to be fantastic. I think we're going in the right direction with this artificial intelligence. I'm going to be doing separate videos on that as well. I think we have a solution. I think we have to step back and realize, let's stop the anger to each other. A lot of these, I'm going to touch base on a very touchy subject, I suppose. That's the LGGP and all those kind of stuff. I don't even know the pronunciation of it. I don't mean that disrespectful, but that's a prime example. In my opinion, we've gone way too far when it comes to the kids. Okay, and I don't want to get into that because it's going to be negative. But do I believe that people have the rights to live their own life? 100%. Again, I've got friends that are gay and everything, and they're fantastic people, and the government rights, as far as like if they're living together, they should have the pensions together, that the spousal whatever, all that kind of, they should have that. But on the same token, if they want to go to a Catholic church and request to be married, I think the Catholic Church has all the right to say no. That's their belief. Don't try and take your belief and opinion and force it upon somebody else or a whole system. That's just, again, just to give you overall, I think we should all think that way a little bit more, for lack of better words, common sense, be relaxed. And again, that example I'm trying to use is, if that's their opinion, just don't force it on somebody else. Let's all realize that our opinions are just opinions. Beliefs are just the beliefs, and they're based on how we were brought up and what we view as information on hand. And this is why I like a good debate, actually, because I can have somebody dead set against me and their beliefs and opinions, and I'll feel like, no, they are totally wrong, But that doesn't make me hate that person. I'll still engage. I'm open. I might learn something. I have very strong opinions of what I have my opinions on and my beliefs on. But I'll still debate them. I will still have somebody say, and I'll listen, because if they, maybe I'll learn something. Okay, and that's the whole key to all of this. We need to realize we're all connected and need to learn from each other. And what makes my opinion better than somebody else's? You know, we base our opinions on the information we have. Now we're going to assume that that person has a different education, or it's unclear about something. Hence, again, why we should just be a lot more patient and learn from each other and realize, you know, we are all connected. And I want to use a really different example out there. The path I'm sort of thinking is we all should look at things a little bit more. Let's say we are all carrying a box of darkness and we're going into a room with no windows, no lights, no doors, no nothing. Okay, of course, everything's dark. And we can hear each other, we can talk to each other, but we're just having an imagination of everything. Now somebody opens a box and has a little bit of light inside there. That little bit of light shines pretty far and lets people see eye to eye and lets people connect better on a different level. You know, darkness and referring to the darkness, well, that's the anger and the hatred, the misunderstanding, you know, but a little bit of light goes a long ways. It shines on a lot of people and it opens up a lot of doors, okay? And that's what this is all about. I think we should all learn that. That's what I'm saying is, I think, part of the solution, and that's a very lame solution in the greater scheme of things for right now, but I think it's a stepping stone and it's the right way to be and have a better positive attitude. Anyway, hey, for all you guys that stuck through this whole video of my rant, I appreciate it. I would love to hear from you. I would love to, if you like this or anything helped you out with this, hit the like button, follow, subscribe. I'm going to be doing lots more. I'm going to be sharing my adventures as I'm traveling around and doing budgets and all this kind of stuff as well. So anyway, everybody take care. And like I said, I'm more than happy to engage. All right, everybody take care. Have a great day.